Thank you. Thank you. Please have a seat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me express the gratitude of the National Executive Committee of the Mountain Coalition for Democratic Change to each and every one of you partisans for turning out to this very important press conference that is intended to announce a series of important actions relevant to the peace and stability of our country, relevant to the security of our country, relevant to the institutionalization of justice in our country. I'd like to convey to you the sentiments of His Excellency George Weah, founding father and standard bearer of the mighty Coalition for Democratic Change, a party that is en route to winning a resounding re-election victory in the first round in October this year. I'd like to express how grateful we are to members of the press for their demonstrated credibility and non-partisan approach to utilizing their platforms for credible information dissemination. We will never allow one apple in the bunch to spoil the rest. The media constitutes credible publishers, credible talk show hosts, credible reporters, journalists with impeccable reputation. Journalists we are proud of. They are providing services to our country that has created a platform upon which our democracy is flourishing under His Excellency George Weah. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow partisans, distinguished invited guests, we say thank you once more for coming to this very important press conference. As we said 2 days ago in the party's conference room, when we expressed sympathy to the family of Councillor Gloria Musu Scott in the tragic attack on her home that led to the tragic death of one of our daughters, one of our sisters, a young woman that deserves to be in school, in fact, who was graduating in November, like any other Liberian child. A young woman that deserves the protection of our government, as all of our children, mothers and fathers, without segregation. Unfortunately, the attack on the home of Councillor Mulbah Morlu led to her tragic demise. We express our sympathy as a political institution that is advocacy-based, a party of the masses. As a mass-based political construct, we are struck by every tragedy. We are struck and moved by every loss of human life. For us, when it comes to the life of people, we don't see partisans, we see Liberians. We do not discriminate when it comes to basic fundamental survival, when it comes to people's lives, when it comes to security. We do not discriminate. As a robust, revolutionary, progressive, people-based institution that's always chose to lead the charge for justice at all times, this party, this George Weah-led party, this party of the common people, this party of every woman, every man, every child in the majority, this party of the masses has chosen to lead the charge in the campaign for justice in the unfortunate tragedy that unfolded at the home of Councillor Mulbah Morlu. We believe, as a non-violent democratic political institution that is mass-based, that every life should be protected, that every life is important, regardless of your political connection or your political persuasion. Every Liberian life is important to us. And we will always try to protect every life, as has been demonstrated by the capable democratic leadership of His Excellency George Weah. Little Charlo is no different. Councillor Scott is no different. No life deserves to be taken, no matter the justification behind or no matter the motivation behind the violence. As a matter of fact, no violence can be justified. The giver of life is God, and God should be the only person to take life. And as a party, we stand in defense of the life, the security, the peace of every Liberian citizen, man, woman, and child. That is why we appreciate today that women groups from different persuasions met today at the premises of the Capitol building, calling for justice in the death of Little Charlo. When we heard about that playing activity, we encourage our women to join the activity, and we are pleased that they listen to us and join the activity. We are pleased for every woman, we are pleased for every woman or every woman that was called upon and that showed up at the premises of the Capitol building. And these actions have just begun and will be sustained until there is justice delivered to the due process of law to Little Charlo and victims that experienced the tragedy at the home of Councillor Mulbah Morlu a fortnight ago. And so we renew our sympathy for the family as we've already done. We cannot sit idly by and allow murderers of women and children, or any human being for that matter, to go unpunished. The CDC, as a part of the people, will stand up and commits to fight with all Liberians to ensure justice, injustice anywhere will be dealt the serious blow of the law to ensure corporates are brought to book before the law. We are also learning that little Charlo's mother is different from Councillor Scott. So in the coming days, we shall be reaching out to the family of the deceased and to the other siblings of the victim to sympathize and express solidarity in this great tragedy that has struck us all as a people. Now, we believe in the face of the different speculations being thrown out, different conspiracy theories being hatched, different plots and different narratives being advanced, especially by members of the opposition, that autopsy should be carried out on the deceased. We are calling on the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Justice and other relevant partners to carry out a full autopsy to establish circumstances leading to the brutal demise of our daughter and our sister. We think autopsy should be conducted. It should be conducted speedily without fail.
No! Autopsy report. Yo!
Yeah. And not just that, we are not paying lip service to this very great tragedy. Others are attempting to exploit this tragedy to advance political objectives. We are not amongst them. We will not exploit a poor victim's tragedy to advance a political cause. We are struck because the victim is a Liberian. The mother is a Liberian. Even if she were not a Liberian, as a human being, it is imposed upon us all to ensure justice is asserted when such grave tragedies occur, even if she were a foreigner. It is our responsibility as a government and people to ensure every human being within our borders is protected. Out of this concern and driven by this motivation, the mighty coalition for democratic change hereby declares a 1 week of mourning, 7 days of mourning that begins today. Sedition, under the sound of my voice, irrespective of your domicile or your geography, whether you are in Monrovia or whether you are in one of the 15 counties or whether you are in the diaspora or in the sub-region, we wear black for little Charles for 7 days in solidarity with his family grief. And we're also, during our 7 days, be an active advocate for justice for the tragic demise of our daughter and sister. While we do that, we thank God that there's a survivor. We call upon our prayer team and all Christians and Muslims and all those that believe in the deity, one way or the other, to commit her to God to pray for her speedy recovery as you go through different stages of that recovery process. Must be seen as offering prayers for speedy recovery and full restoration to normalcy as she was before the attack. At the end of the 7 days of mourning, we are in conversation with the Women League, and we've authorized the conduct of a Black Night. This Black Night comes at the conclusion of the 7 days of mourning. So it takes place next week, Saturday, at the party's headquarters when all seditious, especially women, mentally encouraged to return, will be fully assembled at the party's premises on next Saturday to observe a black night, a black candlelight night, to create the basis for the pursuit of justice for Little Chalo, and to also demonstrate solidarity with the family of the deceased. While we do that, seditions in cyberspace, seditions on social media, be it Instagram, be it Facebook, or TikTok, or Twitter, we're encouraging every member of the CDC, every sympathizer and well-wisher to change his or her profile picture to Little Chalo in solidarity with the family as we press on for justice, ensuring that the perpetrator of this gruesome crime is speedily brought to justice and made to face the full weight of the law.
Yo, profile picture party mandate. Yo.
So the Women League is basically going to be in charge of the Saturday night vigil. And as we speak, there was a meeting today of hundreds of women leaders in the party at the tripartite level. And I want to announce to you that on Monday, there will be the beginning of the first set of mass-based actions intended to create an existing necessity for justice, intended to petition government institutions like the Ministry of Justice, the Liberia National Police, and other parastatals of governance to speedily pursue the cause of justice and bring the culprits to justice. So the women will be assembling in their thousands on Monday. And so women groupings, auxiliaries, and the different party structures are encouraged to work with the Women League to be part of that justified, necessary political action intended to bring to justice the perpetrator or perpetrators of the mayhem that unraveled at Councillor Scott's home a few days ago. Now, we are pleased that regardless of the fact that much of what you've been reading on the pages of newspapers and social media platforms, which is not attributed to the journalists, but the individuals that utter these reckless and baseless comments, much of these comments are conspiracy theories, wild guesses that cannot stand the scrutiny of truth. People are desperate to catch up with the momentum of the mighty CDC and realizing that this election is already done because it is a CDC election to win in October, and knowing that most likely, inevitably, the coming electoral process may be won in the first round in October, seeing the gigantic, tsunamic, gargantuan political upsurge that was created on February 4th. The political surge that was created February 4th. Knowing that strength that was demonstrated, that strength that was displayed, is a clear manifestation of invincibility of the mighty coalition of democratic change. Knowing George Minor Weah, His Excellency, Liberia's only bad road medicine, the hero of our healthcare sector, who has ensured macroeconomic stability for all, knowing that that man cannot be won on a level playing field, knowing that the renewal of the popular people's mandate is on the way to be reaffirmed for George Weah in October. They know they can't win. They know. They know they cannot win. So they've reverted to propaganda tactics, throwing out false rules, insinuations, hallucinated propaganda intended to slow your momentum. But I got news for them. No matter mislead the masses as a basis for achieving power. There is no back door to power. No matter how powerful the waistline can be, it can never stop there from breaking. They will separate. We will have our election, we will have our debates. And we will outnumber you 10 to 1 any day. But for now, we are focused on this tragedy. For us, we will not exploit the tragedy of a poor Liberian girl child to maximize political leverage. We will not do that. Liberians are not stupid. Liberians are exceptional people. Liberians are wise. They know how to differentiate lies from truth. They know much of what that has been thrown out in the public of recent are baseless propaganda, lies and insinuation, falsehoods, intended in disguise to create chaos and anarchy and confuse the population of Liberians. They know that. So we don't need to waste time clarifying these lies because the people already know that they are lies. We are focused on giving justice to a little Liberian girl child that was on her way to graduation this year. And her life was tragically taken. The culprits will not escape justice.
No way.
Now, we are wondering, while we sympathize with the family, we are befuddled, we are confused. Reading from today's newspaper headlines, why Councillor Scout has placed a gag order on her home. That means she, based on what we are reading in newspaper headlines today, Councillor Scout has instructed members of the household from speaking to the police. We wonder the motivation behind this, because when crimes occur, where that crime occurs becomes a crime scene. And everyone in that premises is a suspect. The police has to be given access to individual members of the household to speak and help with investigation, to establish the basis of guilt, the basis of fight. The police should be cooperated with by every person of interest. And I'm glad that as much as what came from Mr. Verdier overseas constitute falsehood, lies, and baseless innuendos, but even so, when the police acted on that information and invited officials of government, they complied. They complied and appeared before the police to respond to allegations, no matter how far-fetched. So I don't know the motivation behind why a former Chief Justice that we all respect will not want the police to speak to members of her household that possibly witness the commission of a crime. We think women groups need to encourage Councillor Scott to lay this gag order so that members of the household may be interviewed to help police with relevant details that may be instrumental in establishing the basis of building a case and bringing culprits to justice. That's the rule of law. And so, to perceive that the former Chief Justice, a lawyer, will not want to obey the laws, but may be encouraging members or family members to violate the law that should practice and got lessons to protect, is befuddling. So I hope women groups, while we all call for justice, we also encourage all the different actors, all the different persons of interest linked to the events of that day to cooperate with the police and be interviewed or talked to. She spoke to the Justice Minister the day after the event, but she is reluctant to speak to the police today. Why that, I do not know. So we call upon Councillor Scott, as much as we are in sympathy with the family, to cooperate with police investigation and help with details that will be very relevant in establishing facts surrounding how our daughter, our sister, a Liberian student, may have been brutally murdered. I don't know what else we have to do if she continues to refuse to comply with the law. I don't know whether then we will have to, or the police may have to utilize a court warrant. I don't know that. But I think it shouldn't come to that. I don't know what the police is intending. I don't know how police conduct these kinds of investigations. But from elementary legal practice, when a crime is committed somewhere, individuals that are within the bailiwick of that crime are called upon to assist with the investigation. So I think it's really important that family members be talked to. I also think that the police should reach out beyond our household and speak to community members, neighbors in that community. They may know something. Because we deserve to know how our sister and daughter died. We deserve to know. If it had been my daughter, I have a beautiful daughter, I would not be proud for anyone to violate her right or the right of any child of a Liberian citizen. I will not. When it comes to people's lives, we don't do politics. We do not do politics with lives. We do not. So this issue goes beyond politics. We are pursuing this process because the individuals involved are Liberian citizens. Even Councillor Scott deserves to be protected, deserves to be respected because he is a Liberian citizen. Much more, she has said the highest office of this country, they will always respect her. At the same time, we will want for all of us to respect the rule of law. Now, this is important because there are different narratives being thrown out. When the incident or the event of that tragic nature occurred, I'm quoting the press to have said that a family member said that workers were hired, construction workers, to work in the premises, to work at our house. And the counselor said that there's one of the workers whose face she observed that was not familiar. And during the night time, the person that intruded the premises appeared to have been that worker you saw in the day. And the story goes that he sneaked in the home and hid somewhere until nightfall. And then came out and attacked the family. And in fact, that was the third time because attacks were reported on the 8th and the 9th. On whom? Now, the problem with that narrative, now I'm just using logic. It may not be fact-based, it's just an insinuation or a supposition. If the individual that sneaked in the house and hid, because one narrator suggests that he may have been an assassin. If the quote-unquote assassin had gone into the premises to kill Councillor Scout, so how come the assassin, quote-unquote, was now attacking children? So what changed? Because if the logic or the narrative suggests that the assassin had gone there on purpose to carry out a mission to kill Councillor Scott, so how did that mission change from Councillor Scott to stabbing children? Which assassin goes through all the headaches of hiding in the house the whole day until midnight comes out to kill someone, will use a net and not a gun? You went to the house as an assassin to kill someone, and you are attempted twice, on the 8th and the 9th, which means that you are desperate to do it, which means that you are prepared. You go to that house and hid yourself the whole night, only to come out with a knife. Because the insinuation is that there is a political motive, where I do not know. But let's assume, as people of logical reasoning, that it were even possible that this is the scenario being created. The assassin goes in the house, hid himself the whole night, and came out to kill Councillor Scott with a knife. And not just that he had a knife, but then instead of attacking Councillor Scott, he's attacking children. The assassin. What that suggests, in my view, is that narrative crumbles under the weight of logic and can ask the scrutiny of truth. That's one. Now, having ruled that out, we now come to the next narrative, that he may have been a criminal that broke into steal. Firstly, based on initial preliminary investigation that we are gathering, we are learning that the premises, the councillor's home, show no sign of breach or forceful entry. Meaning all the front gates, the back gate or gates are all intact, windows intact, the roof intact, so no one forcefully entered. So which means that whoever did that did it within the house. Now, if this man went to steal, or the criminals went to steal, or robbers went to steal, so when the criminal breaks through a house to steal, or hides in a house to steal, the objective is to get away with items of value. So how did a criminal change that mission objective from stealing items of value and was starving children? He went to steal. Are you telling me that the children tried to resist the criminal and fought back in defense? Hey, let's be real. Let's be real here. Even me, that is vulnerable when there's a criminal that enters my house, I'll fight for my life. And the criminal is concerned about his survival, he will most often run away. They will not tend to attack people. Most times. Except there is an intent. But the criminal who's just taking everything, everybody's sleeping. Because he's inside now, so it becomes easier to just leave and run away. But rather, he was in the house and was gathering items and asking for keys. That is, so these different narratives create confusion, provide a basis for investigation. I'm not pointing to any conclusion. I'm creating the depth of confusion that we are all subjected to by what has happened, which provides the need for family members as well as scared to speak to the police and comply with police demand for investigation. We want to know the truth. The narratives are confusing. We want to know. Then I also learned that there was Scott must be a strong woman, and we apply her zeal and strength to come up with pepper spray and spray the assailant or the attacker. I also learned that besides the fact that the premises of the house are barricaded with iron bars, in the house there's also an enclave. There's an iron bar somewhere. So she opened the gate, jumped from behind an iron bar, pepper spray, and went behind them. And the criminal still was able, with pepper spray in his eyes, to collect laptops and ran away with laptops. Now, we are confused. We are confused. And the way forward is those links should comply with police investigation. We want to know the truth. If those that carry out these heinous acts were criminals, they should be apprehended and prosecuted. If whoever did it is an assassin, he should be apprehended and prosecuted. If what transpired is from the house, if it is someone from inside the house, that one should be apprehended and also prosecuted. Whoever it is must not be allowed to walk scot-free, because the life at stake, the life that is lost, is the life of a Liberian citizen that must not be compromised because of politics. No. So CDC in the coming days will continue to be an advocacy-based political superstructure that will campaign for justice in this matter and will not rest through the Women League until everything that will draw towards a positive conclusion that puts the culprits behind bars is done. Thank you, seditious. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for your commitment. Regardless of the provocation, remain peaceful. Remain peaceful and do not allow yourself to be involved in business acrimony, business noise in the street, business confusion. People insult you, you walk away. Somebody wants to slap your ear, you run from there. If they get slapped anyway, you turn the left. Because that is the principle of the CDC. We are a non-violent political institution. Thank you very much. Long live the mighty coalition for democratic change. Long live His Excellency George Manuel Weah. Long live Her Excellency Joy Howard Taylor. Amanda! Amanda!
social justice. I say party.